That's beautiful. But I want this kind of things to happen to you. Because that is precisely the response of the so-called original mind. I have mentioned many times, all the great works in the world, none of them is created by conscious logical thinking. It is not possible. Every poem, every great painting, every new dance form, every new film, every new theater, everything new, it's so-called new. You just cannot have new thoughts. You cannot think about something about which you do not know anything. The so-called creative thinking is a false term. It is only to indicate the difference of thinking required, that's all. But nobody can consciously do a so-called creative thinking in the sense of thinking something new about new. It is not possible. That's why nobody knows who are the authors of the Upanishads and the Vedas and things like that. They did not put their name because by all conscious logic, I cannot do this. I have written in my book also, openly. This book is not written by me. It just comes to you. It just comes to you. It happens, I told you, originality with all kinds of human beings also, but they are not recognizing it. Nobody is identifying the moments of originality for them. Creativity may be a little bit different. Creativity is the second step. The idea originates and then you develop on that. That is creativity. So something you just do and it happens to be correct. Correct in the sense that happens to have wonderful interpretations and wonderful truths revealed out of that, for which you have to experiment sometimes. A writer also experiments. An established writer has experimented with a whole lot of writing. Many of them are not okay. When there is a published poem, there must be minimum 20 torn-out sheets of sample writing. The so-called celebrated Solitary Reaper, 14 lines, it took, I don't have time to make you guess. It took 7, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not 4 years, not 5 years, not 6 years, 7 years for the so-called William Wordsworth to be convinced about the whatever of that poem. Of course, not that every day of the 7 years he was doing that, but I know that was running in his mind. As I also told you, I am giving you the fruits of my dangerous journey of life. So every invention is out of trials and errors. There were so many errors. All right. So, all right.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
So you said this Ashwati's idea came from the original mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Anu saying, it will not mix with it will mix with the common pool and become one? Is it from the original mind or from somewhere else?
That is precisely an evidence of creativity. That there is an available data there. She is meditating upon the possible, probable next signals out of that.
Okay, sir. Understood.
What does it indicate more? That's why nobody looks at Chinmayananda's writing as original writing. They are interpretations. Of course, it is a great interpretation, no doubt about that. But that also that requires what we call creativity. There is an available signal. Why this false? That was a moment of originality for Isaac Newton. Everything else was hard, creative work, doing that, devising experiments and things like that to find out the inspiration is originated or out of the blue. When the black was there, she just fixed upon that. But I appreciate that good question by Veena, as always. But by this, we are not underestimating what Anuradha pointed out. But at the same time, Veena, there is an element of origination everywhere because it has to originate from within, whether it is an interpretation or whether it is even a duplication of idea, it has to originate. I have heard many a time after the interviews, these management students, some of them come to my room and some of
It's
them crying. Oh,
2030.
sir, there was a question. Just after getting out of the room, I remembered I could have answered this way. That response, though she was capable of, it did not originate at that point of time. Maybe because of tension or anxiety, whatever it is. Anyway, it did not originate. So there is an element of origination happening, nevertheless, no doubt about that. So that is very correct. That is a fact. When we are discussing all these things, I told you the other day, they are not watertight compartments. Like mindsets, the 9 mindsets or the 7 mindsets, they are all somehow interlinked also. But there are certain tips, unique tips, that's all. In other words, it is not that there is no originality without creativity, but it is the other way around. There cannot be any creativity without originality. All right. So, what more implications? Quickly, another 10 more minutes, and we have to go to Veena's presentation. I
So,
mean, this time,
sir,
yeah.
black and white is reducing the noise.
Again, that is wait. What is that interpretation? In which way it is connected to interpreting it in the context of mind, mental process?
So, with respect to mind, we receive lots of signals.
Hmm.
So, the attention and filtering out what is required, eliminating all the noise, and attending to what is required. And from that perspective, if we can look at this black and white reduction of noise.
No, it is not really correlating. That way, that interpretation can be applied when there is an input with a lot of noise. Let us say in a discourse by a mystic like Osho or Vivekananda. I don't think there is any noise. Any other interpretation about the blackness, whiteness here?
Right? Can I
In
try?
the, who is that?
Meenakshi.
All right, yeah. She has sound has changed a lot. I cannot. In the earlier times, I could easily differentiate your sound. The sound has become altogether different modulation. All right, proceed. A very good modulation. All right, okay, yeah.
I felt using black and white was a beautiful idea to represent the mind
Why?
because in terms of the quality of the mind, black and white represents the polar opposites which the mind is capable of being in terms of quality, as well as the
Wait,
thousand shades of gray in
wait,
between.
wait, 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 wait. No. Yeah, all right, good, good. This is also a critically significant. All interpretations are significant, but some of them are critical. That's a universal truth. Everything is important, but some things are more important, more dominant, more powerful. A horse is definitely more powerful than a donkey, by which we are not underestimating donkey. All right. So, what is the critical importance? Can you explain? Can you reinterpret? Can you go to the next orbit of interpretation of what you said? First chance to Minashi.
It's just an extension of what I said. The color also represents the
No, no, no.
quality,
No,
not
no,
just the
no, no, no,
process.
no, 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 no. You are underestimating the importance of what you said. You said the essence of what you said is what? Come on.
The essence is that those two colors are able to represent the polar opposites than the mind is capable of being.
Okay, wait. Okay, that's all. And you said in between there are words. Okay, that's okay. So, how do you interpret that? Of course, it's also, like Anuradha pointed out, very critically significant. Perhaps that is the major problem of the world, in fact. What is that?
Sir,
Yeah.
these opposite poles, they cannot exist without each other. So
That
the
is
mind.
that is okay, but that's a very there is no advantage in that interpretation.
So these opposite poles are something like what we discussed, good, bad, right, wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a more obvious, more powerful, and like now in between, I also want to your attention to something.
Sir,
Wait. Keep it in your mind. Okay. Before that, it is so obvious, it is clear. I told you there's a problem of the world. On one side, they talk about Satyameva Jayate, and on the other side, they will do manipulation. On the one side, they say, I love you, and he secretly harbor great hatred. All right? And so on and so forth. Every moment, a lot of things. Correct. And like what Meenakshi pointed out, at most other activities and expressions of interpersonal relationship and other activities, there are wide range, Like modern schools advertise, we train the talents of students, hidden talents of students in their advertising, and they begin with rote learning only. Okay? So, all the advertisements. Okay, all right. What they say, they don't do. All right. Now, two significant, highly significant interpretations. Now I am putting you into a much more challenging question. Reflecting upon so many interpretations. Okay, Tintin was not there the last day. It was for about 40 minutes approximately and continuing today. Looking at the interpretations, what are your observations? Or what observation you would like to make? What creative analytic observation you make? If you, for example, if you had written down the interpretations, or if you remember the interpretations, not necessarily every one of them, what observation you would like to make here about a wonderful property of our intellect? I'm giving you the clue.
I had a network glitch. Can you repeat that question?
It may be a little bit, Parvati may not be able to answer to that question because you did not listen to the interpretations that were made this Wednesday. Anyway,
Yeah.
there were about roughly almost everyone made average 1.5 interpretations, and every interpretation was discussed. And today it is continued. And I think Aniratha made an interpretation. Before that, Tintin made an interpretation. Then what Tintin made also is worth discussing. but we did not go to that. That's also significant. That is significant in terms of the theory of mind. But here, what Anuradha said and Ramesh identified, they are very critical for the very existence of every one of us as well as of the humanity. Now, Parvati, the question was, having exposed to all these, let us say, 15 interpretations, what are your observations about that interpretation? Or what, and I am giving a clue, what are your observations about the intellect based on those interpretations, based on listening to those interpretations?
Okay.
The mind is. So can I try?
Yeah, why not? Try,
Uh,
of course.
the mind is like the lake that is represented in the intellect is like the lake that is represented in the diagram.
Hmm.
Each ripple leads on to the next one.
All right.
So each interpretation we get a new idea, and that leads to the next one.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Sir,
Wait, do you understand this? Yeah. But another, the point is, it will be happening in a liquid surface, in nature process. But it is the one that should happen in the mind of a genius individual. It is not rigid, it is immensely flexible. While the normal distribution people hear a topic, they don't understand, they don't take it fully, as you said in the beginning, or if at all they take it, it is gone finished. Second, even for highly what you call systematic mind, whatever is learned, it remains there. That is the problem of education itself. Just the other day, I had a training program with the chosen people, and they are chosen with a great lot of effort. After about 6 months of communication, interviews, what you call video conferencing, blah, blah, blah. They are from the top institutes of India. All of them had almost consistently, definitely 95% plus from their class 10 onwards. All of them were BTechs plus MBA from top institutions, so-called top institutions. And they could not answer even the simplest questions. But they are all wonderful people in the sense that BTech rank, blah, blah, blah. SSLC third rank holder was there. Whatever is received, like I told you, library. That library, they have mastered it fully and the book is tagged. That will be reproduced. It does not create ripples. That ripples can happen only in a flexible medium, flexibility of the intellect. This is connected with the so-called sixth mindset, Veena, the rigidity of the mind. And that is not the fault of the students because what they learn, they are the end products. The problem with the education is that the students are sitting there and learning the end product of all the researches. They cannot make any variations on that easily. That is the advantage of art subjects, at least little bit of variation. They reflect something on a little bit of poetry, little bit of story, little bit of something. That's why all major creations in the world, whether it is in art, literature, including in science, they are not by the so-called educated people because they have been trained in receiving ideas and stacking it in the library of their mind. Finished. They are mastered it. They will surprise you.